Well, I have learned something about Langston Love for Baylor men's basketball. And it was at the coaches show tonight. And John Morris asked this question about Langston Love on his status, as well as Keontae George. He obviously said Keontae George was a game time decision. That's kind of what I already did a video on that earlier. But as for Langston Love, with his eye, he's a game time decision too. So now we know is a for sure thing, and at least it came from Scott Drew himself and not some rumor. And I know this is not a rumor by any means, because Scott Drew is the most accurate source out there. I mean, he said it over the radio for the coaches show, and in fact, in front of some people that were at Rudy's. So now we know officially what it is. And Langston Love this year, for those that don't know the stats, 6.6 points per game, 2.2 rebounds per game, 1.6 fouls per game, 0.7 turnovers per game, 24 for 66 on threes for 36.4%, 35 for 55 on free throws, 69.1%. I know he was in the 80s, but he's been down recently on the free throw line. And from the field itself, 43.2%, 64 for 148 overall. He's a 6'5", 210-pound guard. That's a freshman, a redshirt freshman, because remember, last year he couldn't play because of torn ACL. And I'm going to mention this as well in the preview tomorrow, that about like what could really happen, and some players to keep an eye on Iowa State and all that. But I'm going to say, just like in the Keontae George update video, don't be shocked if he doesn't play. Don't be. The last thing we need to do is rush him in too quickly and hurt himself more. We might have to see some lineups with like John and Flo together, as well as James Bridges or Caleb Lohner if needed. And I would just feel a little bit better if we had one of these two, either Keontae back or Langston back. But we'll have to wait and see. But if nothing else, we have to make adjustments on the fly. We have to, and we got to have Dale Bonner has to step up, which he has been in the last two games, remember. And Al Flagler step up, and LJ Cryer step up. And foul trouble, especially at that position, is going to be more critical now. And foul trouble in general. Of course, we might have to see Jordan Turner play, possibly. Same thing goes for Josh Uzuwuna. And the only reason why Josh Uzuwuna is not playing right now is because John is ahead of him. He's more experienced. He's the better player. Not to say Josh Uzuwuna isn't. It's just, he's just raw. He's not ready. He doesn't have the experience. And it's good that he's got the experience what he had up to this point, prior to John coming back. I mean, so, and like I said before, we need to beat Iowa State in order to secure a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, regardless what happens in the Big 12 tournament. And I know Scott Drew wants to win the Big 12 tournament as much as he wants, because that's the only thing that he has not done at Baylor. Everything else, he's done. I mean, maybe except like undefeated season, but that's hard to do anyway. You can't do that. It's hard to do that. So that's a no-no. And I went over the tiebreaker rules earlier, so y'all could just check them out. Those rules out in that Keontae George video that I did. So, of course, it'll be easier if we win and Kansas State to lose and Texas to lose. That way, we're for sure number 2 team in the Big 12. After that, it's just tiebreakers. And we don't want to necessarily have to deal with tiebreakers. So, anyways, I just want to inform on that and spread that news. And it's factual, not like a rumor or anything like that. Because Scott Drew himself said it. Not not me making up stuff or somebody else or just clickbait saying he's out for the season. No, he's not. We now know what it is and what the status on him is. So now we know it's a game time decision. If both Keontae and Langston could play, great. But I would rather feel better if one of them came back, like I said. But we'll have to wait and see. If nothing else, we have to make adjustments on the fly. I mean, that's all we have to do. Let's get me up to 500 subscribers, y'all. Come on. Let's get me up to that point. We're on the road to it. Let's go.